Now, for the next session, we have a very, very interesting one coming up involving the CEO of Swarajya, Prasanna ji, and Dr. Harish Ahuja. So, Dr. Ahuja is the head of product and strategy development for the NSC. He has deep expertise in energy markets and infrastructure, finance, both in government and in the corporate sector. Prior to joining the corporate sector in 2011, Dr. Ahuja served in the Ministry of Power of the Government of India. He had taken an entrepreneurial journey as a founder of India Go Solar, that's India's first e-commerce marketplace. Harish has done MTech from IIT Delhi and pursued his MBA from NTU Singapore. He also holds a PhD in electrical markets from IIT Delhi and authored a book on power sector reforms. We really welcome Dr. Ahuja on the dais for a conversation with Swarajya CEO, Prasanna Viswanathan. Sir, if you could please come on stage.
Thank you, Mr. Ahuja, and welcome to the Dr. Ahuja, I should rather say. And wonderful having you here, especially it's someone with deep expertise in infrastructure funding. So next 20 minutes, I'm going to, try to understand and glean some insights from you on the challenges around infrastructure funding in India. So let me begin the first question. We are almost looking at 1 trillion kind of funding for urban infrastructure in India over at least the next 15 decades. But as you might be aware, the state tends to continue to do the heavy lifting in infrastructure funding. We have some institutional instruments or like say some PPP models and all that, but they don't seem to be really pushing the envelope actually. So it's largely the state-led funding which has been driving infrastructure projects in India. So I would like to understand from you, what is, if you could summarize for us the critical structural reasons why this is happening actually, based on your extensive work in power sector and now in urban infrastructure funding as well.
Thank you very much. First of all, on behalf of NSC, I like to offer my sincere appreciation for holding this event. But it was a very important topic and you kept in the last. So it shows the priority of you also. But I think the previous discussions were quite engaging. I really loved it. Now let's talk about the question you're asking. A very important question. What is the critical, you can say, factors which are not leading to this growth of muni bond or particularly say. So there are 7 factors. I noted it down. I think you need to understand the basic structure is definitely different than the overall concept. And let's talk about the fundamental basic structure. I think first and foremost we realize that municipal corporations are having limited revenue generation capabilities. 70% or more urban local bodies have less than 10 lakh population within their domain, though they have the statutory power to collect the charges, be it electricity tax, be it property tax, be it sewage charges, but less than 10 lakh population, how much they can collect? So limited revenue generation capacity. Second is, I think this limited revenue generation capacity with certain political constraint lead to them to over-depend upon the state and central governments. And luckily, unluckily, of late, the GST buoyancy and direct tax buoyancy has led a lot of money with the state and central government. And I was reading today's newspaper within the Standard where Secretary of Finance was saying that, we have put so much money on the table for the agencies that the capital expenditure, they are not able to spend because many times absorptive capacity is less, So I think same thing is happening even though they have less revenue generation capacity. They look towards the state and central government, and when they get a lot of money, they don't have that absorbing capacity. But their bowl is full, their bucket is full with the money. So they don't look like to see the public market for raising capital. Third issue, which is very important, is unlike the professional agencies like companies, like institutions, they don't have that wherewithal, that project execution capabilities. So the data suggests that CRISIL has written a report that 20% project complete on time and 80% project, because of this delay, there's a cost escalation. So they don't have that, you can say, professional body kind of management where they can complete the project on time. And when you raise the money from the public market like NSC for that matter, the investor look towards you as a professional agency which can not only complete the project on time, but can raise the, complete the project with the cost and can show the cash flow. Like the builder was suggesting that if I take 10 years to finish a 100-tower building, maybe are not able to complete it. By that time, the cycle is over and people stop withdrawing from a project. The same thing will happen with the municipal bond. Fourth is, the fragmented urban governance. I think before me, there was a session in where, the War Room chief suggested that, there's an urban overlay, so for Delhi, in Metropolis Delhi, there are multiple roads where the roads lying to the municipal bodies, but the bridge above the road is from PWD, the state government. Now the issue is who's on the street light, because there is no such thing called a street light on the bridges. So there was an amendment on this. So multiple agencies try to claim charge the same asset. It creates a lot of confusion. Fifth is, lack of creditworthiness. I mean, having said everything, credit rating matters a lot. When instruments come in the public market, people like to see the credit rating, but seeing the financial prudence, financial management, poor revenue generation, poor you can say project capabilities, so much confusion on assets, credit worthiness is not good. So that also affects. And most important, which I personally think is, there's not a clear-cut PPP framework for urban local bodies. Unlike state government or central government, which has very robust PPP framework, for urban local bodies, we are yet to create a PPP frameworks. For example, so many projects at the national level, be it port, airport, power generation project has come through PPP of central government. At a state level, metro projects of Delhi has come through PPP, or for that matter, some waterways has come through PPP. But at urban local bodies, there's no such PPP structures. Every project is a unique challenge itself. And last but not the least, land acquisition. People talked about it and the regulatory delays. So these are 7 structural issues.
Sir, if you really look at, like, say, an advanced economy, especially in US, the municipal bonding, the municipal bonds are like quite robust source of financing. In fact, more than robust, I think they kind of constitute the, the foundational finance for a lot of urban local bodies. In India, of course, there is some recent traction. Indore went for its municipal bonds and few other cities went, but nowhere close to what in terms of realizing the potential actually. So, but if you really look at all the literature and experts talking about how to fund the urban local bodies, municipal bond seems to be capturing a disproportionate share of the mind space. So what's really happening in India, and why do you think there is a very slow adoption of municipal bonds in terms of uptake, and what could be the reason? And do you think like anything can be done to enhance the adoption, broadly speaking?
I think comparison with the US is slightly exaggerated, because US is a $4 trillion market. India's overall market cap is $4.35 trillion. And again, in the US, the stock market penetration of local investors is very high. In fact, people, around 65% of the population invest in the stock market. In India, it's around 17 to 18%, So again, because it's a very mature market, it's a very mature market, there are a lot many tax incentives for all municipal bonds. There are a lot many tax incentives, and they follow unique, all the basic structure issues which I raised, especially about PPP framework, about revenue generating capacity. They are well sorted, the governor there of a state or the municipal mayor is himself authority, So it's a very mature market. Let's come to the India now. Again, I has shortlisted few points. I think we'll keep it. I think we need to see what make project successful. You need to understand this. I talk about challenges. But for any PPP or any municipal bond to be successful, there are 5 key ingredients. One is, I would say 6. One is the vision. I mean, if I invest in any project, my investor and me both should be aligned. That vision is not there. The second is a robust legal regulatory framework. I said it's lacking. Urban local bodies are, you can say, one layer of the governance. This is the third layer of the governance: central government, state government, and then third layer of governance. But the kind of political system they adopt, the kind of executive transfer happens over there, or
even
the kind
the
of
capacity in terms of the provisioning the services.
Very, very poor. Yeah, and I spoke about project, in terms of execution capability. The most important thing is their financial costs are not up to date. So they get the grant and they spend it. For them, it's basically they're getting grant, and then so they don't follow the double-side accounting system. They just follow grant and spend. So that kind of prudence which is required from a body which like to come to the market and raise the capital is not there with them. And last but not the least, people resistance to pay, user fee or be the tariff they don't pay. In fact, I was talking to 2-3 DCs of one from Himachal, one from Uttarakhand, and they say, sir, we have got only 6 lakh population. I have got 12 lakh population. And if I increase even a 2% property tax, anyways, my property collection tax is less than 40%. People will not pay. Forget about collection, you know. So charging and collection both are an issue for urban bodies. So I think all these issues somehow not leading to development of the pure municipal consumption.
I mean, this is the problem diagnosis. So leads me to the next question is, of course, you know, maybe a dramatic transformation is not possible, but at least, you know, is there like something that can be done in the fringes to drive the adoption of municipal bonds? Any innovatively structured way to do that and to make it more appealing and probably, you know, to drive some adoption, because the problems are there. So what is the kind of approach that, I mean, as a policy, at least, you know, the union government is often articulates that, you know, kind of tries to incentivize and encourage, at least rhetorically, to use municipal bonds. But is that something that can be done to drive the adoption in the short term, long term, medium term?
Government is trying to support. I think there are central government policies which offer 13 crore rupees grant if you raise 100 crore from the market, or for that matter, if you raise 200 crores, you get 26 crore. For green bonds, even for the second issue, you will get 10 crore and 20 crore. But I think the biggest challenge is not government incentive, viability gap funding. The biggest challenge is in terms of how exactly, as a urban local body, you project yourself before the market. So there are 14 issues right now, you know. Out of 14 issues, the biggest size which you shared is Indore, 244 crore. And the lowest was by, I think, in AP, Hyderabad, 81 crores. 244 crore was solar generation project, and 81 crore for a sewer project, you know. So I think it is, again, the same IPO, same hotel. If Tata comes, oversubscriptions 100 times. If a local company comes, same thing with reality, you know. If Ahuja group comes, maybe they'll subscribe by 80 times. Maybe some other small developer comes, they may not subscribe even the requisite numbers. So I think how you project, and again, the basic intent remains the same. If you remove the fundamental flaw, the basic structure problem, you can successfully done it. But I think one thing which I expect from the government at this stage is tax waiver. If you like to promote the municipal bonds, some kind of tax incentive should be there. Because I think as an individual who's staying in Bombay, let's say South Mumbai, and every day I see the same filth and no cleaning on the streets, you know, and my street lights are not working, I'm the first person to contribute something to this, because I know not only I'm contributing a bond which will be helping me to, you know, give me the illuminated streets or clean water, but at the same time also some returns. I think so people will be happy to have a lesser return because they will immediately face the change. I think this connect ULBs are missing. If somehow this connect like the marketing pitch, I will say, the marketing pitch, if you can connect, so they've got all the ingredients. They have the third level of governance, they have the statutory power to collect the taxes, they can immediately bring change in your life, you know, though they will offer you less interest or less yield. But if some tax incentives are given, in fact, it's a very deadly package. And one more thing, which in fact we keep talking to SEBI, we keep talking to state government. I think SEBI is also very particular about this. You know, I think my experience is the joint secretary power, where we successfully led power sector reforms in Delhi. You know, Delhi was 3 state government led the power reform, started power reform. One was Odisha, second was AP under Chandrababu Naidu, and third was Delhi. Delhi was successful. Delhi got award from World Bank also, and I was part of that entire process of 6 years. And let's talk about 6 key ingredients which you required. First, I said shared vision. You know, not only you, but ULB, but your partner, institutional partner should also be aware what exactly you need to do. Shared vision is very important. Second thing, which is the contractual part, should be very clear. You know, my cash flow, where are they coming from, where they're being spent, what are my risks, who's taking what kind of risk. So, like to give you an example, you know, in one of the project which is power generation. So, before me, the real estate was the land acquisition biggest issue, NHI land acquisition is the biggest issue. But in power project, there are so many issues. You know,
right. Land
is just one component of that. Transmission lines, you know, coal mines, coal travel, you know, coal transportation, and then power generation, power distribution pact. So I just like to hide one thing. You know, if you forget one risk allocation in this project is haywire. For example, I'm setting a power generation project, and my allocation of transmission risk is not allocated properly. The project is gone. So in one of the project where we have put around 6,000 crore rupees, project was ready, but transmission line was not laid by the time. Now banks were asking, as per the agreement, it is the developer who was to pay the late charges. And I think if you don't evacuate the power within 3 months, you are a bankrupt project. We don't know bankable, because if you're not going to sell the project, distribution companies are saying that I know your project is ready, but it's not my fault that you are not able to deliver me, because my electricity has to come to my bus bar, not at your factory outlet. So these are small risk allocation factors which matters a lot. I think that is missing in some part of ULBs. I think we need to think about risk allocation. Fourth, again, very important point is effective communication and collaboration, because all such projects are multi-stakeholders. There are small investors, institutional investors, ULBs, state government, central government, some VGF coming, and credit rating agency. I think stakeholder management is a very important thing. It should be an ongoing process, not only at the time of listing the issue, but that is an ongoing process. And most important thing is, which I think is experienced people. I think when there was a discussion in infra room, that he's talked about engineer, architect, and capable people. I can personally share this thought. When Delhi state government diluted their stake in their distribution companies, the Tata Alliance brought one of the best experts in the globe. Best expert, because it was just a beginning, 2001, I'm talking about. But on the state side, there was no officials who can understand the same language. And it's very difficult for us, because each and every decision costing us thousands of crores. So at that time, Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit decided that she will only put MBA finance and engineers. At least they will speak the language. If they're not speaking that, they will understand something and teach me. So she made a team of very competent people, like War Room, you can say. This 3-4 officials, one of them definitely was me. And we were able to take decisions because we are empowered like that. So I think the experienced talent, you will be the experienced talent, maybe the DCs, a few finance guys. Now they are hiring consultants, but I think this experience and professionals, they need to a handful of people. And I'm very happy to share that Department of Economic Affairs has created a war room in their ministry, where they create a pool of experts who will be helping the ULB in terms of getting their expert opinion on each and every issue. So they are doing it. But at this stage, on-ground capabilities is slightly poor. Last but not least, effective, you can say, stakeholder management, which is very important. When the crisis happen, who will address what? Like communication strategy, crisis management strategy in a corporate, it is missing in ULBs. I think they take this gradient and did very well. Things can be sorted out.
Fantastic perspective, sir. That brings me to pretty much the last question that I wanted to ask you is, of course, it's related. You had a distinguished stint as a bureaucrat, and then you kind of had an entrepreneurship journey, and then you finally joined NSE, where NSE, I think last year launched a municipal bond index. What's the larger objective of this, and how do you see this evolving?
I think NSE is thinking very different. I think NSE is a leader not because we offer a typical conventional stock trading or mutual fund distribution product. NSE is quite ahead in terms of their thinking, and I should salute the vision of Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan. When I was brought in fact, I was brought in as a product specialist for power and carbon markets, because you cannot ignore the importance of net zero energy transition in the country. Kind of vision government has led, the kind of vision the climate change is forcing us to lead, and a stock market cannot be away from that. So we'll be bringing multiple products, be it carbon credits, be it electricity derivatives, be it other products. But I think municipal bond, green bonds, they have to play a very important role. And with that vision, I think in the month of Feb 2023, we brought an index where all the major indices have been, all the major municipal bond indices are being traced upon. As on date, 14 issues has been done. Roughly 2,500 crores have been raised in last couple of years. When we see the returns, point to point means from 24th Feb 2023 till date, it has given around 7.70% returns, which is a good return, I would say. But if you see the overall 14 issues return, CAGR around annualized return of 6.06%. So I think when this kind of indices track the multiple issues, people get a faith, that we can at least get 7.70. And if some tax incentives, it goes to up to 9.5%. So I think the indices give a good picture about this. But I think the future belongs to multiple more innovative products, which me with thinking, like I like to give some example here. Again, we are taking a leadership role as a product leader. we are talking with the state government, I cannot disclose it, about SIB, Social Impact Bond, where state government will be outcome funder. They will pay only on performance. So they will lay a very simple criteria that, I like that this particular health sector or education sector should deliver this much output, basis that output, I'll keeping that money in escrow account, and the rest funder will come, this funder will fund. If the project get execute as per the wish list, then this funder will get his money, and outcome funder will pay him, so it's called SIB. The second thing is, and it's very much part of social stock exchange framework, which I lead in the exchange. This is also called DIB, Development Impact Bond. The only thing which is different from SIB here is one of the part, the outcome funder part or risk funder part is done by the material institution like IFC, ADB or AIB. The third, which I think is fourth, I think, green bond, DIB, SIB, is sustainability linked bonds. These bonds are very important after the greenwashing issues in certain previous green bond issuance. Now, SLB is leading in the front. In fact, this is nothing but I'll put some performance criteria. If I'm not able to meet this performance criteria, I'll pay higher interest. So the yield, which is right now 7.70, can go up to 8.70 basis on performance standards. So I think it's a very interesting phenomenon happening, and globally now more of the developing countries where the greenwashing issue was quite prevalent, they are going for SLBs. One state government has approached us for launching with them SLBs also. So we are again taking the lead, and I think this index is becoming kind of a barometer of how exactly the pressure and temperature moving here, and NSE has taken a lead here.
Wonderful, sir. And thank you so much. That was quite an engaging conversation. You gave us nice bulleted points to understand some of the intricacies in the issue. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Sir, though it may be public information, just wanted to check which of the municipal corporations have in India have like good credibility and bonds preferred by investors.
No, I think all the issue which has come, in fact, they have gone through a very stringent process of credit rating, a very stringent process of their project execution capabilities, their financial management, and basis that only they've been allowed to come on the public markets or be them privately issued. I think we got very overwhelming response for Indore project because it was a nicely packaged project. So I can, like Mr. Wadhwa suggested you, that how to identify a right developer, how to identify a right customer, So I think there are key ingredients you should see when any municipal issues come. First is, are they clear what they are doing, the project definition per se? Secondly, are they very clear about the cash flow which are being saved or which is being spent upon? If third is, the senior leadership which is driving the entire, and it doesn't matter who's the DC here. It is the principal secretary UD also, the chief minister also, and the state as a whole. That's why I think Gujarat has been very successful, because now Surat and Rajkot also coming. The entire leadership is brilliant there, and they have got past experience also. A fourth more important thing which I think is risk allocation. How exactly, like in case of Indore, I can give, because of the largest issue and subscribed over 7 times. They could sense that, in spite of their best effort, there will be many years when the savings from the electricity expenses will be lesser. So MNRE pitched in, Ministry of New Energy pitched in, and they put around 100+ crore as a VGF. They again could see that, there will be some time when maybe they'll not be able to match the interest payout. SECI pitched in, Solar Energy Corporation of India, by putting out 78 crores. So I think they were very clear that risk should not be borne by the customer or investor. It should be borne by certain agencies. So risk collection was very nice there. I think this is a factor you should see. I could answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Being as an energy expert from the field, and considering the increasing the demand of electricity in the whole nation and growing nation. So, how you look into the future business in the field of hydro batteries, PSP batteries, which is coming up. So, just I would like to want to have some view on those sectors?
How much time I have? I can take full day answering him.
I know, but maybe.
No,
in
I'll
short,
give the
in
answer.
short,
So
sir.
this question, you said a business, you are asking very specific to PSP, pump storage project, storage, or you like to get an
Yeah.
overall view about the sector, electricity
Not
sector?
all the sector, only
PSP and storage. Yeah, so I think you need to see the numbers. Around 440,000 megawatt is being generated in the country. Out of that, roughly 42%, around 160 to 170 megawatt, 180 megawatt now, 1,80,000 megawatts coming from renewables. Uh, Rest is primarily from natural gas, primarily from coal, natural gas, and hydro, run of the river. So base load is decreasing. If you see the overall mix of the power, base load, which is a consistent 24/7 at a 50 hertz frequency, is decreasing in the overall capacity building because renewable is going very fast. Solar project I can install in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year. What we need to set up in 5 years for coal project, or 7 years for hydro, or 9 years for nuclear. So base load capacity will go or shrink in. Now this will bring the volatility in the grid. The 50 hertz frequency will not be matched. So you need a storage. You need consistent base load power. PSP work as a peaking load power. Whenever there's a shortage of power, you can pump it, or when the frequency is going down, you can pump in the power. Storage work will more like a balancing the frequency. I think this has a great future. I think the only thing which is going to be supporting this journey of high renewable growth is PSP and storage. I think no brainer. I would say no brainer. You should think that this will go not by 3 or 4 times, at least 10 times. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we can wrap it up with that.
I
And
have one more question if there's any.
Yeah, please.
Just who are the investor categories in municipal bonds abroad?
Unfortunately, at this stage, because this is a very, you can say, tricky and risky area, because you need to understand, municipal bond is full of policy and regulatory uncertainties. Having said though, every 5 years government changes. Most of the project life is 25 years, 30 years. And people have to understand this uncertainty, the policy change, the regulatory change. So at this stage, we are not allowed the retail trader, or retail investor like you and me. People only the face values on 1 lakh rupees and minimum 10 of, so at least 10 lakh rupees you have to invest. And these are HNI, ultra HNI, you can say. But going forward, SEBI is thinking that if 30 more issues come, we have to ultimately go down to the 10,000 subscription level. At this stage, ultra HNI, pension fund, insurance fund, top-notch infra specialists like funds invest in this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahuja and Prasanna ji, for this really enlightening talk. Before we just give the memento to Mr. Ahuja, just a small announcement. So our Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis ji could not come here for this event due to some emergency, but he will be appearing in this very hall sometime in the next 10-15 days, very shortly. So just stay tuned for that, and whoever is present today, you'll get a notification as well about this event that's going to take place here. So just keep an eye out for that. And Dr. Ahuja, we'd love to have Mr. Muthuraman, the CFO of Swarajya, just to give you a memento for Dr. Ahuja.